but this team just, I mean, sure, obviously the Turbo did come close to winning some of the games, but that was just insane. I can't believe how well these guys played. They actually were able to win the games both in a short period of time and a long period of time, really seeking out those opportunities to both survive and kill. So excellent job by this RMD.
Oh man. Taking a quick look at that bracket to see how far we've come so far in this tournament. The Yacht Boys are going to be in the finals, but who will be facing them there? Speechless, you know they are roaring to get back into the games, get back into that matchup against the Yacht Boys, but they're going to have to get through a very hard team, as Trolljagarn and Reawakened are going to be facing off against one another to see who's going to be going to the lower bracket semifinals. Reawakened, you know, they had a rough start of day one, you know, with the technical issues, so they are here and they have something to prove. But Trolljagarn, they've definitely shown that they are a top tier team as well, and this is going to be no easy feat to take out Trolljagarn if Reawakened wants to get there in the semifinals to go up against Speechless. Trolljagarn, they have those elemental shamans on Zeepai, but they also have a frost mage as well as a warlock for Walrix, so multiple compositions available to them. Reawakened, they do have that Shadow Priest Frost Mage, but their RMD has been, you know, their go-to composition so far, and with good reason. They are looking so very strong on them. And is this actually a rematch from earlier on? I'm trying to
They actually had an incredibly close series yesterday. If you remember, it was the game. It was a 3-2 series where Reawakened committed every single defensive cooldown to get the kill in the final game, actually. So a really tight series, and I actually had the opportunity to talk to Lexi from Trolljagarn yesterday, and they were kind of upset about the losses. They felt like it was just mistakes that was losing them the games. So maybe today they've worked on it a little bit, and maybe they feel like they have the opportunity to get their own back at Reawakened here. So should be interesting to see if they've made any adaptations since yesterday.
All right, well, we have a rematch between Reawakened and Trolljagarn, and you know, Reawakened did take the series 3-2. So, you know, if they feel like they were, you know, making some mistakes, maybe at this point, you know, this far into the tournament, they could just, you know, nail down what it is they need to get done and put on an even harder series for Reawakened. But here we go. Game 1 is about to start here. This is the lower bracket, so the team that loses this series will be completely eliminated from the tournament.
I'm really curious to see if Trolljagarn have improved, if they've polished up their gameplay, because Zeepai's damage is very high, and Raikou can get caught off guard with just how much damage he can dish out. So look to see if Zeepai can really carry the team with damage. Lexi obviously looking to get his setups with his Deep Freeze and his Polymorphs, Ontim and Poike, so it's going to be important for Lexi to get CC, and it's going to be important for Zeepai to finish people off. We can see Reawakened just patiently sitting in stealth. I'm hoping there's no problems. It looks like they are just playing very cautiously as they go for the Shroud of Concealment. They are all still invisible to their opponents. I think they're trying to wait out Lexi's stealth so they can get a clean triple CC opener. And Lexi has left stealth. Waz moves in, instantly lands the sap. Cheap shot over onto Zeepai. Preemptive Iron Bark from Fobbers. Good reaction here to deal with the adrenaline rush from Waz. And they actually don't land the Ring of Frost. Good shutdowns onto Raikou are going to prevent CC. And Lexi's has actually secured a sneaky sheep of his own onto Mimpoike, now into a full Cyclone from Fobbers. A lot of pressure over onto Raikou. He could be in danger. Down at 19%, barely getting out of line of sight of Zeepai's damage. Still down pretty low here, and Zeepai is relentless, forcing the block, pushing in incredibly hard here. They're going to swap their pressure, I think, over onto Waz potentially, just hexing him up temporarily. Another polymorph over onto Mimpoike, and Raikou's on the run.
An excellent start from Trolljagarn, able to shut down the CC with great avoidance from Fnobbers, and he actually shifts this Deep Freeze as well. Can they land the Ring of Frost? It's interrupted. Excellent sheeps coming out from Lexi, really shutting down Reawakened. Lexi's been MVP so far this game, landing sheeps on everyone. We see the sheep onto Waz right now. He's just shutting it down, everything with this Icy Veins. He gets locked on Frost right now. Can he land some CC onto Mimpoike? He's going to be looking for the Deep Sheep in the near future. Oh, actually, they're doing a little bit of damage to him right now. The Earthquake stuns means that he can't be sheeped. He's actually getting sheeped into the Earthquake. That's so unfortunate. But he does get knocked out on that cast. The CS coming out, meaning that the whole team is running low. We do see the Cloak of Shadows and the Ice Block. Raikou coming out. He needs to get offensive now. They've used the Smoke Bomb. They want to kill Fnobbers, but Raz is so low. The NS comes out from Mimpoike. He's desperately trying to keep his team alive. Fnobbers in so much trouble. He uses the NS. Still down to 40%, 30%. The Iron Back, so many cooldowns coming out from this Resto Druid. It looks like he's going to stabilize for now, but at what cost? He has absolutely nothing left. And now we have to look at Trolljagarn. They do have a big advantage in the cooldown lead. With Raikou having no block, there's no Cloak of Shadows available. Whereas only Minpoike can save them now. He does have his Trinket available. He doesn't have NS though, so he has to react accordingly. There's so much damage coming out onto Waz right now, who's kind of in the middle of the map, turreting damage into Zeepai. Zeepai down to 80%. Fnobis does not have Trinket. If they can set it up correctly, they could maybe kill Fnobis, but he's sitting that bear form. He's playing super safe. We do see the kidney shot. They're going for the kill. There's very little hots on Fnobis. He's down to 80%. That bear form might be enough to save his life. Down to 60%. The triple DR stun. We see the growth off that. He's down to 50%, but it looks like he's going to stabilize. And now Trolljagarn are looking to go offensive with that deep freeze. Can they land the sheep off that? It doesn't look like it. Good shutdown from Reawakened.
Yeah, really important for Raikou to interrupt that sheep. Now Minpoike hotting him up, keeping his team alive. As Raikou has no more blocks remaining, he could be vulnerable target. Waz has no Cloak of Shadows for about 10 more seconds. Can Zeepai finish him in that 10-second window? There's the full bash out from Fnobbers. They're looking to try and end his life. A half clone on Minpoike. Fulminate connects, and Waz could easily go down, but a huge NS from Minpoike. Oh, baby. He's going to top him off. We see a deep freeze on Minpoike, but he is in the Frozen Orb, so Leaxy's unable to CC him. A lot of pressure on Raikou. Zeepai is just crazy, doing a lot of damage to everybody here. But a full Ring of Frost landed onto Fnobbers and rotating the pressure over onto Zeepai. Will his Shamanistic Rage be enough here? He's trying to line a sight, but he actually runs into the Ring of Frost. Luckily, though, Fnobbers does get that Iron Brackman. Raikou could go down. Zeepai just, even though he's just getting hit so low, he doesn't care. He's just attacking back. If he knows that once the RMD pushes onto his face, that he has the highest opportunity to actually kill them at the same time. And I really think Zeepai carried that game with damage. I mean, he doubled everybody. That was definitely his game to shine. I mean, Fnobbers had a really nice recovery on that one swap, but without that damage backing them up, they really wouldn't be able to get a kill, I don't think.
I feel like that was a slight miscalculation on the part of Reawakened, because they sensed they had to get something going because they were so far behind, and Minpoike at the end there was pushing for that CC on Fnova, trying to follow up because they saw Zeepai was so low. Maybe they expected slightly more CC coming out onto Zeepai, because Zeepai, despite being so low, was just saw the kill opportunity onto Raikou, and the fact that Poike was pushing in for that CC actually cost Raikou his life in the end. But Zeepai, they almost got the cross kill. Zeepai was so low, down to 30%. There was so much CC coming out onto Fnobbers, and it was really unfortunate they weren't able to get that cross kill there.
Oof. That was pretty crazy. I mean, there was one point in that game where quite literally every player on their team was like scared for their own lives. But yep, we're gonna be getting into game number 2 between these two, but before that, I just want to take a quick moment to shout out people. I'm not ignoring you. I'm sorry. These games have been so quick and so awesome that I've been getting quite distracted. But we did get a 3-month resum from Valines XX. Thank you so much, Valines, as well as Kato June for a 10-month resub, and we have a new subscriber, AJ Zach. Thank you so much for that subscription, man, and welcome to the team. Make sure to give him some GCD hypes in chat, and welcome the new subs to the team. We also are at $1,461 out of our $2,000 goal for that final tournament prize at the end of the season. And that's going to be there the entire season, so every cent that we've gotten in donations today and every day throughout this entire season will go directly towards that prize pool. Thank you so much, Darrell, for that 12-month resub. Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. And yes, that is correct. We are going to be eating a ghost pepper.
You have. There's so many 12-month resubs. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So many people that have been with it since the start.
Yeah, people support WoW esports, man. They're into it, and you know, with games like this, like Reawakened versus Trolljagarn right here, the level of play, I would be too if I were them, because this is really cool and awesome to see. But that being said, Trolljagarn, I definitely think that they looked stronger in game 1 than we saw them previously in the match that they had against Reawakened in round 1. So Reawakened, man, I don't know. We're gonna see what happens here. This is their map choice. They brought it to Trolljagarn Arena, a much larger map.
Maybe they feel like the amount of rot pressure coming out from Trolljagarn, they can maybe recover slightly easier on the bigger map. But I'm not sure that this map's gonna have too much of an impact on this game. Maybe they can shut down a little bit more of Leaxy's CC here, but we're going to see a similar opener to last game. Fnobber's sitting in that stealth. He'll be looking to get that Iron back onto Zeepai on the opener, whilst of course Waz is looking for the sap, trying to get as good an opener as this RMG can with their triple mass stealth. So We have to see how it opens up. There's the sap onto Zeepai. The sap gets swapped over onto Lixie actually, but the pre-iron bark is going to answer that. He actually gets locked on the rough, so there's no CC onto Fnobbers. Maybe they're going to commit the blind here, but Fnobbers is quite greedy with his trinket sometimes, so he might not even have to use trinket here. The iron bark looks like it's going to be enough. He's down to 80%. There is that blind. Is he going to trinket it? He does use to trinket it. There is no iron bark. It has already run off, so good trinket there for Fnobbers. Make sure that, but they did force some cooldowns here, Reawakened, so they need to try connect onto Zeepai again, but they need to also watch out from the damage coming out from Lixie. He does land those sheeps onto Minpoike. Can they follow it up with a clone? Looks like he's following for it, but the CS comes out from Raikou, and they might actually go offensive onto Zeepai here. Full lockout onto Fnobbers. He blocks offensive. He wants to get this Rov. There's no trinket available. They could kill through the Shamrage. The Shamrage came out a little bit late. He's down to 50%. The smoke comes out, but spam heals from Lixie looks like it might be enough. The CS on the reshape from Raikou means that Minpoike should be able to land some clones, but a good win share coming out from Zeepai means that they're shutting down as much CC as possible, and they will get out with their lives.
Zeepai switching the heat over onto Minpoike, bursting him down to 30% HP. He's forced to NS himself, a bit of a close call. But forcing that NS on Minpoike is important. He's not going to have that to save Raikou or Waz moving forward. We see a full bash over onto Waz as Raikou getting sheeped up. It doesn't look like they have too much damage just yet, but I don't want to say that. Zeepai has a lot of surprises in his damage every once in a while here. Minpoike moving forward, but he's going to eat a deep freeze. Raikou getting bursted down. Raikou getting still just so much damage, down at 30% HP. Minpoike trying to top him back off with this iron bark. It seems like they have recovered. Raikou's going to blink in. They want to go on the offense right now. Fnobbers into that deep freeze. Raikou trading a second block aggressively once again. They're looking to end this. They got about one more second before Shamrage. Zeepai gets it off, but I don't even know if it's going to be enough. Waz is just doing so much damage. The Roth on the killing spree. So important to peel this damage, and Zeepai is just trying to cling on to life. Healing surge after healing surge. If he can stay alive, they should be able to take it. He's committing everything to try and stay alive. He's going to survive the CC. They've landed the sheep onto Minpoike, and now that Raikou has traded both of his blocks aggressively, they should be able to get a kill, I would find, pretty easily. Fnobbers is looking to try and get a clone, but I think he got interrupted by Waz there, so nice kick from Waz, breaking up the CC on the Minpoike, but this is looking actually very good for Trolljagarn moving forward in the match.
Yeah, Reawakened really committed to that kill. We've seen them do that a few times, and they were so close to getting a Zeepai down to 10%, but Lixie, with that Ring of Frost on the killing spree, that was so important for this team. After getting locked on the sheep, able to land that did save Zeepai, and now we do look at the situation where Trolljagarn want to be the offensive team. They're pushing in. Waz has his Cloak of Shadows up. I'm not sure he's the right target, but they do force the NS out from Poike. That's pretty important for this team. Poike's Trinket will be coming back up, so they do have that defensive cooldown available, but Raikou is so low, and actually a skin coming out from Fnobbers, not entirely sure what that was about, but he's in the full sheep now, and they're going on Zeepai. The trinket comes out from Zeepai. He doesn't want to commit that Shamrage right now. He's behind a pillar. It looks like he's going to be okay. We do see the blind coming out onto Fnobbers now as well. They need to get some offensive pressure going, though. There's no real damage being taken by Reawakened right now, even though they are kind of sitting in the middle of the map. Was taking a small amount of damage, but they're just sitting on Lixie. They're trying to shut him down as much as possible. They realize this mage damage could be significant, and the trinket has to come out from Fnobbers because of that earlier skin. But
yeah, Raikou's getting bursted down so hard. Zeepai just surprise attack. Raikou's trying to get out of line of sight. Minpoike had to trinket amidst all of that crowd control. Waz now getting cloned up. Fnobbers is going to take it personally here to try and clone up Waz a lot more, I would expect. Maybe bash him. He bashes him out of the clone. Waz has no feint and a lot of damage to just blow him up. Oh. Reawakened are going to fall. Great setup from Fnobbers there. That clone to remove the feint damage reduction and then set it up with a bash. Really smart play from Fnobbers, and they're going to punish Reawakened here and take victory in match 2.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, I feel like they're taking one out of Reawakened's book with these swaps over out onto the Rogue. Like, the amount of damage they just did in that bash to Waz was pretty absurd. But, you know, that's what happens if you don't have that feint up and you get caught in a stun, you have no out. That can happen to a Rogue, and he actually did get cloned before that. It was almost like they were prepping for that swap, and that bash, wow, just a lot of damage coming out from Trolljagarn right there. And now all of a sudden they have a 2-0 victory lead to Reawakened, and Reawakened, they are on the back foot for sure. They're going to have to win 3 games in a row if they want to continue in this tournament.
Yeah, I think they could do it. I mean, they just have to clean up their play a little bit, and we've certainly seen a new Trolljagarn today. The Lixie just seems to be all over the place with the peels, with the offensive sheeps, and obviously Zeepai is always there with his damage. You can never expect anything less from Zeepai, but these setups now coming out from Trolljagarn are quite clean. Good setup there by Fnobbers, and actually a chain of events led to that as well. with him using that skin, maybe baiting them onto him a little bit, maybe some mind games going on there. He was aware he had Trinket, he could survive, and it allowed them to just be so offensive.
Those are one of the things that you'll never know if it was a mind game or a mistake.
Right.
I think it was a cheap shot. It was a cheap shot polymorph, so I think he got cheap shot. Waz used Adrenaline Rush, so he just wanted to instantly reduce any damage because he wasn't in bear form. So
Right.
I don't blame him really for skinning because they set that up with a cheap shot instead. But yeah, it might have been a bit of a mind game because they focused damage onto Fnaubers instead, which meant that Zeepai could finally just commit and do a lot more damage. So, you know, it was interesting that it ended up working out as a mind game, even though maybe it was unintentional.
Yeah, I saw the cheap shot coming out, and he was running right away. But that's a scary moment, you know, especially if you didn't have a whole lot of hots on you. Getting swapped to as a Resto Druid in human form, you got to react somehow. You don't want to underreact. That's for sure. But here we go. We're going into game number 3. It is Tiger's Peak. It's RMD versus Frostmage Elemental Shaman Restoration Druid for Trolljagarn. And I don't know, man. This is a very different series that we saw in round 1 yesterday. Reawakened, you know, brought the series back, though. You have to remember, Reawakened did bring it back 2 games in a row. So they definitely are capable, but they're going to need a lot of energy to take out the new and improved Trolljagarn now. Trolljagarn, they're looking super solid, and if I was Speechless, who is currently waiting to face the victor of this series, I would be scared of either team. They just got knocked down from an RMD, but at the same time, Trolljagarn is looking on point.
Yeah, I'm really scared for Reawakened right now. I mean, they have to find something. Maybe they could even consider going Leaksy. I just feel like he's doing so much for this team right now, but leaving Zeepai free isn't something you want either, so I'm not really sure what the correct solution is right now. Sitting on Leaksy does seem to shut down the damage a bit more, though, so maybe I'd like to see that from Reawakened. But it does. We'll have to see what they choose to do. Of course, they are going in stealth. All 3 of them kind of sitting back, waiting for these AoEs to run out, waiting for Leaksy to come out of stealth. But Leaksy's actually holding his stealth a little bit here. Good, yeah, nice mind games from him. We'll see if we see that coming out in the near future. Minpoike is pushing in. Maybe he's going to try land a Cyclone on him early. We're just seeing a slow opener from these teams. The capacitive out from Zeepai. They're just waiting for these things. And there is the sap onto Zeepai. Are they probably going to try solve it over to Leaksy? We'll see. The Ironbark comes out onto Zeepai. Surely they're going to go on someone else. Actually, they're going for Zeepai still. I feel like maybe that was an opportunity to go on Leaksy. We do see the instant trinket coming out from him and the Icy Veins Deep Sheep. They're trying to go offensive instantly onto Raikou. It looks like Zeepai is going to be okay here, so he's down to 90%. They did bait out the Ironbark somewhat with the stuns using it later, but it looks like the offensive team right now is Trolljagarn and Minpoike into that Cyclone. Not too much damage coming out onto Raikou, though. He's doing a good job of lossing it. He is taking damage now, but the huge NS comes out from Minpoike. A pretty standard opener for both teams.
Yeah, but Minpoike gets to escape that only trading NS, which is very important, whereas Fnaubers is now down his trinkets, so Reawakened have a kill opportunity maybe to swap to him moving forward. A random sheep actually landed over on him in Minpoike, and now into the Roth. I think they ended up breaking it, so Trolljagarn maybe making a bit of a misplay here. Now there's no more CC from Minpoike, and they're trying to deflect an attack. Zeepai using his Shamanistic Rage, and Waz sees that they're probably just going to pull back. Waz, though, getting controlled and caught in the center of the map. Are they going to set up a bash out of the clone is the question here. And it is a full clone into a bash. Waz needs to be careful here. He has no feint. This could be the trinket. He's trying to hold on to it, playing pretty greedy right now. And Minpoike trading out that Ironbark and the Cloak of Shadows. So maybe a bit of a waste of the Ironbark, but he didn't want Waz to trinket, I guess. So Raikou now getting swapped to locked on Frost. That's going to be it. Just so much damage. Whenever Zeepai can do what he wants, Zeepai gets what he wants, and that was a dead Raikou. So
wow,
I don't know, man.
Down goes Raikou.
Wow, that's
indeed.
CS on Frost.
I'm going to go take a quick look at that replay to see the crazy amount of burst that was just thrown at Raikou there. And in just a split second, Raikou currently in the replay is at full HP and sitting pretty. This is a swap over out onto Waz that was very scary. He did hold on to his trinket throughout the whole thing. And all he did was trade up that cloak. I kind of like that. I kind of like that he was like anticipating the setups later on in the game. But Raikou definitely was not anticipating this. He was just accumulating icicle, spamming that frostbolt, gets locked out, and down he goes. This crazy amount of burst out of nowhere, and Trolljagarn is going to continue to move on in this lower bracket, knocking out Reawakened 3-0. Let's take a quick look at that bracket. Speechless is up next against Trolljagarn, and that is going to be the semifinals of the lower bracket. This is the additional series that the lower bracket teams have to compete in to be able to get to the final.